Hey everyone, Shorupan here. I am back with the second video, the second kind of Q&A video for this InstaCrypto release video series that we're doing. In the previous video, if you haven't watched my previous video, which is about just a recap of why InstaCrypto is necessary or is our solution to a very necessary problem, please watch that, as that is going to make much more sense of everything that I'm about to say. The second video, or the second thing I'm tackling about this InstaCrypto app is who uses it. What is the archetypical user? What does the customer look like? Well, it's really simple, especially if you saw my previous video, you'd already start to put it together. The ideal user for InstaCrypto is someone that has one ambition within the crypto space and needs guidance. And so that's very abstract. Let me explain that. Usually when someone wants to do something, get into crypto or transact in crypto, the only ambition they have is the crypto they want. You can look at Google searches, at times of hysteria. You can look at the way people interact with the large exchanges. Essentially, it's something like someone comes to some notion that they want Bitcoin. Maybe it's because they were inspired by the internet or their friends, but they come to that notion. No matter how much information they learned about Bitcoin, I mean, they could have read the entire computer science literature on Bitcoin before coming to this inspiration, but they still wouldn't have any further ambition than, oh, I want Bitcoin now. And so that is how everybody engages with Bitcoin. So they default go to Google. If they don't have any guidance, they'll default go to Google and they'll say buy Bitcoin, and they'll essentially start to realize the limitations I described in the first video, which is, like when you type in buy Bitcoin, like the first one that'll come up, let's say, is Coinbase or whatever it is, and then you're like, oh, I'm not in a country that Coinbase serves. It didn't dawn on me that Bitcoin isn't like Facebook. I can't just sign up from anywhere. But that you're not outraged by that usually. You're like, okay, I just need to find a vendor that solves my request. I mean, a place that I need to find a place in my country that can get Bitcoin. So you'll go in and type in buy Bitcoin in France, or buy Bitcoin in India, or buy Bitcoin in Ecuador, whatever it is. And then you're going to get a bunch of lists in Google that show you the vendors that operate in that jurisdiction. So then you click on the first one, right? So it's some exchange that operates in that country, and you realize that they only accept, verified customers via this type of payment method, which might be domestic to that country or not. And you're like, wait, I only have credit card, or I only have, PayPal, or I only have cash, or I only have this. And then you're like, oh, okay, I guess that's another limitation. So let me Google again, or let me see if this company has another option. So I'll be like, buy Bitcoin with credit card, or buy Bitcoin with PayPal in France, in Ecuador, in India. Okay, now you're gonna get a much less list of exchanges that do that, if there are any, and then you click them and then you try to engage with them. So that's essentially the process, the logical process someone would go through. If the alternative is way worse. The alternative is they get force-sold on a vendor that really doesn't satisfy them in any regards, and they're kind of figuring it out. You can make an argument that that's some of the Gold Exchange customers. That's definitely some of the Binance, but Coinbase customers is like, you found that vendor first because they provided some exogenous value proposition, but they don't give the process of onboarding. Definitely not for those three filters that I talked about. And so InstaCrypto essentially says, and once you see the app, you'll definitely get what I'm talking about, is you tell us one of those four things. Right? It's a gigantic data aggregator. So you tell us what are those four things. I want Bitcoin. If you say that, it will then ask you the rest of the questions and present you results. I'm going to go more deep into that in the follow-up videos. But so essentially that's the ideal user type. And then of course, the person that wants to then, once they find the vehicle, the vendor to do it, they then go ahead and transact with them in the way that the vendor designated that transaction to be. In other words, the end user for InstaCrypto is someone that is looking for the way to buy the crypto that they have made a decision to buy. Then, of course, once they do that once, they'll just continue to do that if it works for them, because that's the great thing about using a search aggregator, is that the first time is a journey, and then once that, you don't need to search anymore. You're just going to go right back there. So the second type of user for InstaCrypto is actually what I've addressed until now as the vendor. I talked about that person or that user type in the previous video a lot. To reiterate, the vendor is anybody, any company, any institution that's selling crypto. Could be Coinbase, could be the biggest exchange in the world, or could be my next door neighbor who started a crypto ATM business or just another crypto mining business. They're all vendors. And what a vendor is also able to sign up at InstaCrypto, and what he's able to do is he's able to list his offering, not in the way that, you know, like tellers or like local Bitcoins or something, like you're listing an offer. No, this is an enterprise relationship where he gets to tell us the exact questions I asked. You know, what country, what jurisdiction, I mean, what payment method, and then that breadth of vendors, because their goal is to sell coins, is put through our engine at the time of query and is presented to the users, and we undermatch that transaction. And that is essentially the two users. So there's one we call that vendor user profile a banker. Now, just to be very clear, from this point on, I'm only going to refer to them as bankers. When I say banker, I'm not referring to your banker like Bank of America or TD Canada Trust or Barclays. No, I'm referring to anybody, and if those companies get into the selling of crypto, they will, in my world, be called bankers. In the app, in the global exchange, will be called bankers. A banker is someone who's providing liquidity for an asset. A user is someone that is trying to consume the asset. And those are the two people that use ICP. I should stop saying ICP. Please, guys, correct me. It's InstaCrypto, because InstaCrypto Purchase was our old website. We're rebranding that to InstaCrypto. So thank you.